I figure you could use a little pick-me-up.
All electric?
All electric.
Are EVs really the future? If you're into electric cars, you know they're usually pricey. It's not just talk, you can feel it in your wallet. To buy a family-sized electric vehicle, you need at least £25,000 for something like a BYD Dolphin or an MG4. Well, the good news is that changes are coming, and fast. It looks like electric cars will soon be more affordable. You might have probably heard people say that electric cars are about to get cheaper, and then it never really happens. But now there's actually a bunch of good reasons why new electric cars are going to be much more affordable, and it's happening soon. Car makers haven't slowed down production despite the challenges. Why? Because the government has something called a Zero Emissions Vehicle, or ZEV mandate. This rule sets goals for how many electric cars manufacturers must produce every year until 2035. If they don't meet these goals, they get fined. Here's what it means. By 2024, 22% of each car maker's lineup has to be all electric. This jumps to 28% in 2025, then 33% in 2026, and it keeps climbing. By 2030, 80% of their cars must be fully electric, and by 2035, they need to be 100% electric. So even if car companies wanted to slow down on electric cars, they can't. They've got to hit these targets or pay up. With more electric cars hitting the market, there's more choice for buyers. But not everyone is sure about switching from petrol or diesel to electric. So if you're a car manufacturer and you want people to choose your electric car over the others, what's the best strategy? You make your car cheaper. That's the first reason we think electric cars are about to become more affordable. Here's the second reason. There are more used electric cars available now than ever before. When there are more used electric cars to pick from, it drives down prices, making them more accessible for everyone. If you want to get a new electric car without buying it outright, leasing or financing is the way to go. This is especially good if you're using it as a company car. You get big tax benefits. Lots of these leased cars are now reaching the end of their contracts and are hitting the market. More cars to choose from means lower prices for you. Another thing to consider is depreciation. Some people point out that electric cars can lose their value faster, which can be a downside. But if you're buying a used electric car, this can work in your favor. It means you can get a good deal because someone else has already taken the bigger hit on depreciation. When it comes to used cars, the fact that electric cars can lose their value quickly can actually be a good thing. Why? Because it makes used electric cars way more affordable. For example, if you check AutoTrader, you can find a used Porsche Taycan for under £45,000. This car was nearly double that when it was new just 4 years ago. You can also get a second-hand Jaguar I-Pace for about £20,000, and it's only 5 years old. That's crazy. This car was originally priced at around £70,000. Sure, you might be wondering about battery life and how long they'll last in a used car, but that's a whole other topic, and we'll cover that in a future video. Remember that cheap Porsche we just mentioned? It still has around 50,000 miles of battery warranty left. The Jaguar? It has another 65,000 miles covered. Now, here's reason number 3 why electric cars are about to get cheaper. It's all because of Tesla. Last year, they made a big move by cutting the price of the Model Y by £8,000. Since Tesla is such a big player in the electric car world, when they make a move, everyone else tends to follow. After Tesla dropped their prices, a lot of other car companies did the same thing. They either lowered their list prices, gave better financing deals, or offered other discounts. Right now, the average discount on a new electric car is more than 10% off the regular price. That's a pretty big deal, and it shows how much Tesla can shake things up. Some car makers are giving even bigger discounts. Reason number 4 is that Tesla wasn't the biggest seller of electric cars last year. That title went to BYD, a Chinese company known as Build Your Dreams. They sold a ton of electric cars in China, so many that they became the world's top electric car brand. This means more competition, and more competition usually leads to lower prices. Now, BYD and other Chinese car makers are expanding into Europe, and they have one goal: to sell a ton of cars here. Their big advantage? They can keep costs down. Battery production in China is much cheaper, which means companies like BYD, GWM, and even MG can sell their cars at lower prices than European brands and still make money. Here's an example. In China, a BYD Dolphin costs about £13,000. Over here in the UK, it's around £25,000 because of import tariffs and other taxes. But even at that price, it's still way cheaper than some of its competitors. So as these brands start selling more cars in Europe, we could see prices go down across the board. The reason MG is so popular in the UK is that it's affordable. They now make up 4% of new car sales in the UK, which is 1% more than Tesla. And that's not all. Other brands like Alota, Zeekr, Hai, and Nio are coming along too. We know their names sound like they could be made up, but they're very real, and they're making some cool cars. As more of these brands enter the market, electric car prices will keep coming down. But there's another reason electric cars are going to get cheaper. European car makers know they need to price their electric cars to compete with regular petrol cars. If they don't, they risk losing a lot of customers. So, even without the influence of Chinese brands, traditional European car makers have to find a way to make electric cars as affordable as their petrol equivalents. It's not just a trend, it's a business necessity. Right now, if you compare electric cars to similar petrol models, electric cars cost about 35% more. This is mainly because the materials and development costs are much higher. Batteries are the biggest expense. They use a lot of energy and pricey raw materials to produce. But here's the good news. Battery production is getting cheaper. We'll get to that in a minute. Car brands are facing a simple choice. As the electric car market slows down, they either need to drop their prices or risk going out of business. So there's a lot of pressure to make electric cars more affordable. Now let's talk about these cheaper batteries. According to Bloomberg, EV battery prices dropped by 89% between 2010 and 2020. That's a huge decrease, and it means that as battery production costs keep falling, electric cars will keep getting cheaper. It might not always seem like it, but there are a few good reasons why battery production is getting cheaper. Here's what's happening. First, there's something called economies of scale. This basically means that the more you make of something, the cheaper it gets. So as more batteries are made, the cost to produce them goes down. Second, car makers are starting to extract and process raw materials closer to where they build the batteries. This not only saves money, but also reduces carbon emissions from transportation. Third, car companies are building their own big factories, called gigafactories, to make batteries right where they make the cars. For example, Nissan is spending billions of pounds to build one in Sunderland, UK. All these changes are helping to bring down the cost of batteries, which should make electric cars more affordable. The fourth reason is that car companies are getting better at fixing and reusing old batteries. Tesla says that they recycle 100% of their batteries. None end up in landfills. This is great for the environment, and it also helps save money, which benefits everyone. It's a win-win. Another thing worth mentioning is that new types of batteries are being developed all the time. Even though all electric vehicle batteries use lithium-ion technology, the exact chemistry can vary. These innovations could lead to even cheaper and more efficient batteries, which would make electric cars more affordable for everyone. But there are also many different materials that can go into batteries, especially if you want to make them cheaper. Most batteries use a mix of nickel and cobalt along with lithium. But there's another type of battery known as LFP, which stands for lithium iron phosphate. These batteries usually have a slightly shorter range, but they cost less to make. That's the type Tesla uses in its budget-friendly version of the Model Y. It helped them cut the price by £8,000. So there you have it, 6 reasons why electric cars are likely to get cheaper soon. With all these factors at play, we can expect more affordable electric cars on the market in the near future. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and we'll catch you later. Peace. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.